address bar and you pop up and I can click on there.
There you go.
Yep. Uh, Address bar.
Mm-hmm. Well, good morning, Miss Jess. Good morning, Ty.
Good morning.
You guys missed me yesterday?
Of course.
Good morning.
It was the funniest thing. So I get there early to get a seat, and I need 3 seats because it's myself, Nana, and their daughters, and showing up because Nana has Sammy. So I find a place with 3 seats. There's 2 seats in front of me, and I'm like, whatever. So this lady comes in and sits down on one of the seats, and she's saving the other seat for her husband. I think, no problem, right? Her husband was 6'8", and he sat right in front of me. So all I saw were shoulders.
I had such a similar experience the other day at the U of A basketball game. My boss gave me some free tickets against Baylor, and we sat like pretty high up, and like I could see perfectly fine. And then the seats right in front of me, I was like, maybe nobody will sit in them. What do you know? The biggest dude there, and like I'm tall already, so like if I can't see, it's a problem. Yeah, see, exactly like that. Exactly like that.
This is him slouching down in his chair.
He's slouching.
That's all I saw the whole time.
Welcome to my life.
It was kind of funny. I laughed at it. I just had to duck my head around him, do this the whole time. But you're right, Ty. Things just happen. You're like, no, never. It can't happen that way. Yep, it always does. There's always something that comes up, but you know what? We overcome it. We transpire regardless of the situation we're in. So, good morning, 802. Let's hear from you. What are your wins, celebrations, something you're proud of?
Yeah, so the client that I picked up from when I talked to you, they said that they have a family member coming in to buy the home. So they said, if things change, we'll use you. And then I got another call 2 days ago for a military person, wanting to sell their house. And I did that with a cold call.
There you go.
Audra, where'd you get the contact info? Like, where'd you pull the list for the cold call from?
I had got Red-X
Oh,
and
sweet.
uh-huh.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. How much does that cost you per month, if you don't mind me asking?
Uh, Something like it, I think it was like a 3-month thing, and maybe something like 500 or 600, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they scrub all that stuff like for the do not contact list and all
Yeah.
that stuff. Great.
Yeah. Not a lot of numbers. Some of the numbers aren't correct, but some are. Some are.
Good. What else we got to celebrate? Come on now.
Well, you already know it, Dan, but my buyers are submitting an offer today.
Woohoo.
Yep.
Sends me a text at 6:55 this morning that is grossly inaccurate.
April, August, it's easy to put the months. Like I told Dan, the sellers want to do a 2-week post possession to give them time to move because they're closing on another house in town. And I said, hey, can they close at the end of March and then do a post possession till the middle of August? He was like, all right, let me clarify this. I meant the middle of April. They want 2 weeks, not 5 months.
Why do they need 5.5 months to move out? In my head, I was going through all the potentials. I'm like, are they renting this house out for Airbnb for 5 months where they just get extra profit? Are they doing remodeling work in it? Like, I'm all this, like, I gotta call her. I gotta call her. So,
yep. Hopefully we get it. Hopefully we get it accepted. We're gonna offer below asking. It's listed at 1.25, and we're going in with 1.15. So
hey, plus you're giving them a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So that's all part of the negotiations.
Would you make that just 2 cents on that? Would you I guess you could use that as a negotiating point for a cost versus no cost for those 2 weeks at the end.
I would say if I'm going in less than full asking and I'm negotiating compensation, I'm negotiating concessions, I'm negotiating anything else, and they want 2 weeks to move out, I may give that up as a gesture of good faith. It's 2 weeks. You know
Yeah.
what? You know, and I'm going to put that in the offer in my email, not on the document.
Right.
And I'm going to
Okay.
say, hey, and please find the attached post-possession agreement, giving your sellers the time that they've asked for at no additional cost. My gift.
Love it.
Because it's not always a negotiation, is it dollar for dollar?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's intangible, sometimes it's non-monetary. Anyone ever bought a car and they threw in the floor mats?
Yep.
That was like the last thing they did. You know what? Can't do anything else for you, but we'll give you some floor mats. They came in with a non-tangible and non-monetary. And it's like, yeah, you were asking for $5,000 off, and they said no, but here's a set of floor mats, and you're all, hell yeah, floor mats, let's close the deal. The floor mats probably cost a dealership $80, maybe 100. But to you, you're like, okay, they're all in because they gave me the floor mats. This is your floor mats.
I love it.
So carry on. We're gonna talk negotiations today. So it's a great starting point. Any other celebrations, wins, something you're proud of?
We had an awesome call yesterday in your absence.
Yeah, we did.
Well, you know what? When I'm not here, I expect greatness. I'm just bringing down the curve. That's all I'm doing.
Did anyone talk to you about it, Dan?
Nobody, because I wasn't on it. So and it wasn't.
Ooh, Jim.
I didn't say when.
Touche. Gracie unmuted, so she might have a win. But yeah, we basically all voted for some opportunities for script practice, role play.
That's what we're doing. So, did you guys script practice and role play yesterday?
Of course not.
We brainstormed about script practice and role play. It's a process.
It's a process. What do you got, Gracie?
Oh, I was gonna say my win is I booked 3 appointments this week.
Nice.
Hell
Which I'm
yeah.
happy about. So I have 3 appointments starting early next week. I'm excited about that. And then my event that I did yesterday went really well. There was about half the people that went last time. When I didn't have my table set up, there was like 3,000 people last time, and now yesterday it was super cold, so there's about 1,500 people, but I still met plenty of people, gave out all my cards, and also met a lot of the vendors, which was nice as well. So it went good.
That's awesome. That's great news, Gracie. Good job.
Thanks.
Heck yeah, girl. Now, how much content did you get out of that?
I got a good amount of stories. I mean, I have videos too, which I'm gonna make into a reel, but I posted a lot last night on my story. And I actually, like a few weeks leading up to it, was posting about it.
That's awesome. Hey, love it, guys. Love it. So, script practice, huh? What do you want to practice? What do you want to script around? Every day I give you word tracks, questions, and scripts that you can use in your everyday business. Did you know that? Some of you want it because I know you use it.
Mhm.
But did I not give you one to start this call off when we're talking about Christina's post-possession agreement?
Yeah.
It's the small moments in between conversations that matter the most.
I had a buyer, the seller that I'm speaking to, he's talking about what is the market like. And I kind of took some hints from the lender that came on and told them, well, there's not going to be too much of a change with the rates being that, uh, the market might get better, so what would be your, because I'm going to talk to him again about it. And I do talk to lenders too, other lenders.
Well, here's the answer there, Audra. Have you guys saw the news that the Federal Reserve paused its interest rate cutting campaign? Well, that's a big part, right? I told you guys got to self-educate. So you got to find some of this information. Wednesday, they gave a signal that they're going to stop their rate cutting campaign with no plan or intentions of continuing it with the uncertainty spawning around President Trump's policies. So if the Fed's not going to cut rates, what's going to change?
Not too much, right?
Not too much is going to change, and that's why. Right? So you did a great job, Audrey. Not a whole lot's going to change. And here's why, right? Not a whole lot's going to change. This is the information I know. How's the market? Well, the market's going to be pretty similar than it was the last year. Not a whole lot's going to change. We're still seeing an increase in inventory, which is going to give you some competition. And with the Feds not cutting rates anytime soon, we're probably not going to see a huge change in buyer activity. Currently, the days on market are blank in this area. What other information can I provide for you? What would you add? What else? Come on. What other questions could you ask?
Sorry, I was just writing something down, so I literally like blanked that out. I'm
It's
sorry.
okay. We can go back. It'll be on YouTube in a bit. It's live right now. You can go back and listen to it in a little bit. But I love
Currently,
honesty. I love your honesty.
you said currently the homes are sitting on the market blank days.
I never said they're sitting on the market. That's an emotionally targeting term.
Okay. Is
But
that
that's
good
what you
information?
heard.
Huh?
I said that the average days on market is blank in this area.
Okay.
Oh, no, but I never said homes are sitting on the market. Because when you hear the term homes are sitting on the market, what does that make you think?
That it's going to take forever to sell my house.
Emotionally triggering, right? It's a bad thing. So we don't say that. Well, yeah, houses are sitting on the market. Oh, no, why? No, the average days on market in this area is blank. What's the next
Or like
question?
if prices going to come down? Do you see prices coming down?
Well, it really depends on what area and what price point. Where are you looking?
Central San Diego.
Okay, well, what are you hoping to find?
A deal.
Okay, I'm with you. I'd love to find a deal. What does that look like?
Something under $1 million.
Okay, what's important about under $1 million?
It's in my price point.
Okay, so if we find a house that's within your price point and it fits your styles and needs, is that something you're willing to take action on right now?
Depends on the house.
Okay, tell me more.
I want something that I can fix up and it's gonna yeah, that maybe has been sitting on the market for a couple days.
Okay. How bad do you want it to be?
Um, definitely running water and walls up, but I can deal with a pretty big fixer.
Okay. So what's got you wanting to find a fixer upper?
Things are expensive in San Diego. I just can't afford to buy $1 million home. I'd rather put my own money into it, make it my own.
Okay. So you'd rather not get something that's already been remodeled. You're hoping to find something that has some potential
Yeah.
that is in the area that you want to live in and it would fit your needs. Now, if we find something that's close, maybe a neighborhood or two off, or maybe it's got some things in it that you didn't want or you can change, is that something you're open to?
Yeah, I think so.
Great. You know what? I'm going to send you over some information on it, including an opportunity for us to work together. Are you available this afternoon for a Zoom call so we can go over that documentation and that information?
Yeah.
Did I not just set an appointment for her for a BRBC?
Yes.
Was that very difficult?
No.
No, right? You got to understand, like, I don't want you to play stupid. I want you to be stupid, right? When somebody says, I want a deal, I don't want you to instantly think that you know what they're talking about. When somebody says, I want $1 million house, I don't want you to think that you know what they're talking about. I want you to ask questions like, what does that mean to you? $1 million house? What's that? Like, not so childish, but I want you to have them define what they're looking for. I say $1 million house in my area. That's something impressive. I say $1 million house in San Diego. That's under the freeway next to the 7-Eleven.
It's remodeled though.
Two refrigerator boxes next to a dishwasher box. We call that a duplex. But you want to understand these things. Maybe somebody's coming from California into one of the other areas like Tucson, Sierra Vista, Cerrito, whatever, and they're having the same conversation. Oh, we're just trying to get into a house like we used to have in California. Our house is in Loma Linda. It got burnt down. You know, we had a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, but we want to stay in the, million and a half range.
Dan, I suggest you buy 3 houses.
Well, I mean, with your budget, I think we can buy 4 or 5 that fit that need. So tell me what's important about the area you live in. What type of activities are you into? What are your hobbies? Do you guys have a job in the area that you want to be close to? Tell me what's important about where you're living. Because somebody's going to say, I want a deal. I want to be in a certain price point. I want to be a certain payment. Okay, what's important about that? What's important about central San Diego or downtown Tucson or in the mountains in Sacramento? It doesn't matter where they're looking. You want to understand the why. Seller comes to you and says, how's the market? Well, it's fantastic. Why do you ask? How's the market? That's an interesting question. Why do you ask? Well, we're thinking about selling our house. We want to know how long it was going to take. Okay, well, where's your home at? What condition is it in? How fast do you need to get it sold? Everybody wants you to give them a straight, direct answer that's going to fix all their needs, but they don't realize they don't know all their needs. So ask questions. Right, Fabi? I'm thinking about buying a house. Can you help me out?
Tell me more about that.
Well, the family's trying to buy a house in San Diego.
Awesome. San Diego's a really big county. Where have you been looking?
Online.
Online, like Zillow, Redfin, when you're scrolling.
I don't know, all of them. My wife sends me everything.
Your wife? Oh, cool. What does your wife like to do when what do you guys like to do when you come to San Diego?
I don't know if Jess had her hand up because she had an endpoint or she was
Oh,
self off mute, jump in there.
I was on the essential call yesterday, and Jackie said that when somebody says, I've been looking online, it's a good opportunity to say, let me send you houses, because most houses online aren't telling the truth. They might be under contract or already sold. So it's a great opportunity to say, like, let me get your email and I will send you houses that I know aren't like under contract, because we have like the LMS and stuff.
No, there's a potential there. Like, let's keep that in your hat for the conversation because there's going to be an opportunity to provide that value.
mhm.
Love that. See how it pinged her like, oh, this is a trigger point that I was told and taught about when someone says they're looking online. How accurate is that information, right? Zillow, Redfin, Trulia, all those things, they're not up to date. Keller Williams, our apps, our locations, KW is up to date. So
Mhm.
good job there. But let's continue on, Fabi. Because you said my wife and then you stalled.
Sorry. Um,
Your wife? And then
your wife. Sorry. Um, what are the kind of things that you guys like to do when you come to San Diego?
oh, we'd love to go to the beach.
Perfect. There's so many different beaches in San Diego. Well, listen, it sounds like you've been doing a lot of.
On beach. It's the Pacific Beach. There's just San Diego water.
No, I can't. No, I can't take you seriously.
Like Florida.
There's a lot of beaches.
Yeah.
Well, great, Dan. It sounds like you've been looking like on Zillow, Redfin. I would love to be able to send you great information of what's kind of going on with the market, active listings, so that we can make a decision on where you want to land with your family. What's the best email for me to send that to you?
We're good. We're just looking online.
Can I jump in?
Yeah.
Dan, what does your wife do for work?
She's a nuclear tech physicist.
A nuclear tech physicist. Man, that's impressive. How long has she been doing that?
God, I don't know. I'm a stay-at-home dad. I don't know what she does.
You guys have any kids, Dan?
5.
Five kids? So we're gonna need some bedrooms in.
Yep.
How about yard space? Kids like playing outside, or they like my kids? They play on their tablet, video games, all that stuff inside all day long.
Video games mostly, unfortunately.
So is yard space important to you and your wife?
I like a little privacy.
Great. Nice pool, lounge deck.
I'd rather not have a pool. I'm tired of taking
Yeah.
care.
I don't blame you. I'm not a big fan of pools myself. It's a lot of maintenance.
Okay, tag Christina, you're in.
So Dan, besides you guys liking to come out and enjoy the beaches, what specifically about San Diego is making you look there to move?
Oh, my wife's job. They
Your
just
wife what?
they just bought a nuclear test facility in San Diego, and we're moving there.
Well, that makes sense then that you'd want to be conveniently located. I know you said you're just looking. What's your timeline for you guys? When are you thinking you'd love to be out there?
The next 3 to 5 years.
Okay, that's a pretty general. So is this nuclear physicist test center in the construction phase? Like, tell me more about that. That's so fascinating.
Oh no, she's already living out there. She's already moved.
Oh, okay. So she's in a rental out there right now?
Yeah.
Well, that sounds like it's maybe stressful, you guys splitting time with the 5 kids and all. And are the kids back with you, or did they go out with her? You guys,
Oh, I've got them all.
you've got them all. How's that working out for you?
Eh,
Sounds like it might be ideal if I'm reading between the lines correctly to get out there sooner rather than later. Would you say that's accurate?
right? Tag Joanne, you're in.
Um,
This is fun.
I was only half paying attention, sorry. So if we, sounds like,
Okay, tag Gracie, you're in.
So I know you mentioned your wife's occupation, but what do you do?
Oh, I write romance novels.
Nice, that's awesome. How many novels have you written before?
I'm still on my first one.
Nice. What's that one about?
Romance.
Okay. Love it. So is there anywhere in San Diego specifically that you'd like to be close to? Like an office space that you like to go to write your novels?
Oh, I write from home.
Okay, nice. So it sounds like you could really be anywhere in San Diego for your job.
Yeah, possibly.
Okay, awesome. And I know you mentioned you had 5 kids. Is proximity to schools important to you and your wife?
And really hasn't been before.
Okay. And how old are your kids?
Ooh, finally a very important question. They're all 12.
Your poor nuclear physicist wife.
All 5 of them.
Okay.
All right. So so they're 12. It sounds like they aren't old enough to drive themselves anywhere. So I'm sure you and your wife might find it a little bit easier to make it a shorter commute to school.
Okay, we're gonna pause there. I like that the questions are going. You're getting creative on questions, but I threw out some very important pillars of information you need to run down.
Okay.
How long am I looking for? Like, what's my time frame for moving?
3 to 5 years.
3 to 5 years.
Why?
Great
Yeah.
question.
Mm-hmm. 'Cause you don't have a plan.
No one asked.
Mhm.
I
Okay.
was starting down that road with the
All right,
convenient timeline to get out there sooner. So you're
Rachel put in the chat, where's the facility, right? Where's the nuclear physics facility at?
Well,
Right?
this is good because this is something we were talking about yesterday too. And I'm sure you think the same thing is like I never get to the point. I'm like I always elaborate and like talk too much. And that's just the type of person I am, but I
Do.
think in real estate I need to be more straightforward and get to the point.
We all do. We can have more purpose-built conversations because you got to look for time, right? We're looking for a time element. Why San Diego? Well, my wife's moved, her job moved there. Great. Do you want to live in San Diego? No. Well, what's home look like for you? Next question, you guys don't know. Where am I coming from?
Yeah. And do you have a house to sell?
touche.
Do all 5 kids have the same birthday?
They may not biologically be all mine. You never know. But these are things, right? If I'm coming from rural Virginia to San Diego, is that going to be a culture shock? Yeah. So it's important to understand, okay, what do you know about San Diego? Well, I know that my wife lives there. My wife's working there. She's been there for a couple months, right? No one knows how long my wife's been there. Okay. Well, have you had any time in the area to look around to see what you like or don't like? No. Right. Have you put any thought into the type of place you want to live? You can see how I'm building more of a story now. Yeah, we can ask questions and we can chase conversations and we can have this funny, like, oh, your wife's a physicist, you write romance novels, you know everything about me except for the things that matter.
So it seems like mainly what we should be focusing on to make it a straightforward conversation is the why and the timeline is what we should always go back to.
We always want to understand people's motivation.
LPMAMA.
LPMAMA, right? Go ahead and tell us more about that, Anthony.
Location, price, motivation. And I don't remember the other three.
I don't remember them either.
Location, motivation, price.
Throw out acronyms I don't remember all the time.
Anthony, did you get that listing?
Yes, and we're still working out some details, but yes. And yes.
So what's the A?
Oh, hold on.
Location, price, motivation.
Price, motivation.
Agent,
attitude.
mortgage, and appointment. No, it's agent, mortgage.
Agent.
Joking.
Right. Where do you want to live? What do you want to be at? Why do you want to move? Are you working with someone? How are you going to pay for this? Can we get an appointment set up?
I didn't know how long we had for our convo, so I was just like, let me book the appointment.
I love it. You went for the appointment. You went, hey, it sounds like a good idea for us together. But we can make this very quick. This is the fun thing is I had this very conversation with somebody last week. It's a gentleman I got a lead from who's moving from Upper Wyoming to Tucson. And I was like, okay, well, where are you at now? Oh, we're up in Wyoming. Okay. Why move to Tucson? No one's going to take offense when you're like, tell me why Tucson? Why San Diego? Nobody wants to move to California for the politics. But you're like, oh, well, we're tired of the cold. You know what? I had 4 feet of snow. I think the guy said I had 4 feet of snow yesterday. I'm done. So we're going to buy us a winter home down there. We're going to keep this house up here for the summer, but I'm done. This is my last winter here. Okay, great. So that sounds like you want to be moved in before next winter. He goes, yeah, by November of this year, I want to be moved. Do I have a timeline? Do I have a reason? Right? What am I missing?
Price, location.
Price and location. So next questions. This is I wish you guys could have heard this conversation. You would have heard it all, but I was like, do you guys have an idea of where in Tucson you want to live? He goes, well, my brother lives on the west side and I really like it, but also we've been checking out Oro Valley. online and really like all that stuff. I was like, great. Well, what kind of hobbies do you do? What are your interests? What are the things you like to accomplish? He goes, honestly, Dan, we're homebodies, so we don't even have to live in town. We just want to be within like 30 minutes of groceries or medical or whatever we need. And honestly, I like to be away from people. That's why I live in Wyoming. I was like, I got it. How about this? Let's find a time for you to come to Tucson. I'll chauffeur you around for the day. I'll drive you to all the different locations. We'll check out the different things so that you can find out what areas speak to you, and then we can narrow it down. Have you guys put any thought to how much you want to spend when you get here? And he's like, well, Dan, I don't want to spend that much, but I could probably go up to 500,000. I was like, well, in Tucson, that buys you a pretty decent size property. So let's narrow down what you're looking for and the location you're looking for, and from there, we'll help you guys make a well-informed decision. When are you planning your next trip to town? Not probably until summertime. Oof. Do you want to come here in July? You're going to realize why people don't live here in the summer. He goes, I know. I've been there before. It's hot. I was like, great. In the meantime, I'm going to send you some information, some houses that are on the market, some things to look at. Let me know if anything speaks to you. And from there, we can narrow down and start finding something that's a little closer to home.
Do you not send him the BRBC?
No, I'm not showing houses yet. I haven't earned the right to do so. And I'll be honest with you, I don't use a ton of buyer broker agreements, the BRBCs, because I've earned the right to do business with them by how I do business with them.
California, you have to have it now.
To send them properties online?
Or a PRSA. It says to show properties. California will let you define that.
Yeah, you're not showing by sending. You're sending them information that they could just find online. You're just curating a list.
Well, we could send them properties. We just can't show them virtually. So we can't send them videos without a BRBC. But we
could. Did I say I was doing that yet?
Not yet.
I didn't say I was doing that yet.
No, I think she's just clarifying what Jim was saying.
No, I want you guys to think about in those lines is don't make it overly formal because people don't want to do business with that.
Well, no, I was trying to clarify that for myself too, because
when you're showing properties, if it's virtual or in physicality, get your documentation.
Well, I was clarifying that too, because I was thinking about that's kind of what I did with the other guy, that one story. And I was like, I'm not going to make it super formal yet until I get all of his information back and really make sure he actually does want to purchase a home after he gets a pre-approval. I don't want to be too premature and send the BRBC over, but then some people have been telling me you should have had that signed before. So I don't want to get mixed signals of what.
Gracie, we didn't say you should. We said it would have prevented the situation.
Yeah, once you started down the path of getting him funding, I would have established the relationship. But in my situation, am I there yet? He's not even sure he wants to live in Tucson. So all I'm trying to do is differentiate myself from the other 7,000 agents in the area.
But then what if you did send him a property and he falls in love with it and he's like, oh my gosh, I'm obsessed with this property. I want to put an offer in. It's been on the market for 2 days. I want to do it. And then he gets pre-approved and he can't afford that property. Then what do you do?
Well, I would never submit an offer until it was pre-approved.
I know, but wouldn't he be upset with you maybe that he's like, why are you sending me properties now I can't even afford it? No, you should have done your due diligence of making sure I'm able to afford the properties you're sending.
He got to the point where I asked him, he's like, well, I could probably go up to 500,000. The rest of that conversation is, well, great. Are you financing or paying cash? He goes, I could do either.
Okay.
I was like, great. Well, if you decide you want to go financing, let me know. I got some really great resources here that you can talk to. But you're right. You should do your due diligence. I'm talking to a 70 or 80-year-old man who's got a multi-million-dollar house in Wyoming. Yes, I looked it up. There's some creepy resources online. You can find people's information real fast.
And it makes sense if he said he's able to pay with cash. I'm just trying to clear things up myself too, so I'm not missing anything when I'm talking to people.
I'll give you the honesty. There's a finesse to it. I've been doing a long time. I've had a lot of conversations, And you can read into the way someone talks, the way they present themselves, the way they present the situation. You know if they have done this before, if they're legitimate, or if there's something to add a little bit more cause to question. I've had situations where I've been completely bamboozled by that, but the majority is I've done enough that I can tell. I have the vibe, right? I've been on the job long enough to get the vibe. But you're right. You want to ask questions and stuff like that. If somebody says, "Oh, I love this house," fantastic. You need to call the lender right now to make sure that we're pre-approved. I do not want you to fall further in love with something that we can't get. Are you available right now? And I'm going to keep them on the phone. I'm literally going to click over and call the lender and say, "Hey, I got a buyer on the phone, needs to get pre-qualified right now. This is the house they're looking at. This is the price point. Are you available?" Boom. Transfer the call.
Gracie, to Dan's point, there's some clients or some leads that you don't want to send buyer broker agreements to after having a conversation with them.
Right.
Yeah, you kind of have to read the room with
Or
them. It sounds like.
Or you do because you want to like just get to the point.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I'm like, I
Willing
know
to
I'm gonna find my own way of doing things, but it sounds like everybody has their own way of doing things. There's no specific system that I need to follow with for every
It's
single
also
person.
great. It's also understanding the disc profile. Who are you talking to? Who's your audience? How do you need to proceed? If you've got
Yeah.
someone that needs to have detailed information, then you're going to spend a little bit more time discussing things with them, going through earning the right to ask for their business. You may have somebody who's a high D like Dan who doesn't want a full explanation. Bam, 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 sign here, move forward.
Yeah.
And
It
let me
just depends
clarify.
on the personality.
I didn't mean it to say for mine, like, or you should send, like, as a blanket statement. I have a client that's out of state right now that is, I mean, for all intents and purposes, wasting every minute of my effing time. And so it's like, cool, great. I'm going to send this over to you. Literally was like, can you send me a PDF version? No worries, dude. I'll send that to you via email if that's easier for you to read. Sent it to another agent friend of his in Pennsylvania who basically redlined, went through it line by line and forwarded me that email. And I hit him back with the whole full, like, don't test me on these questions, sir. I will answer every single one of them. Do you want to sign this or do you not want to? Because I'm moving forward.
Yeah, when they ask of my time, I'm gonna ask of their commitment.
Correct.
Anthony, what do you got?
I was just going to say, I listened to an audio recording of Lydia yesterday. It was about an hour long buyer consultation, and it was amazing. She talking about the disc. She knew how to slow it down, tone it down, and be very, very consultative versus me. Well, I'm there, bam, bam, bam. All right, you ready to sign this? Let's get going. So, like, it taught me a lesson just listening to her that sometimes, even though I feel like I know the disc profile enough to understand, I'm sure there's times where I blow over some of the stuff and I completely lost that report.
Yeah.
Nice job, Lydia.
Good job, Lydia.
Thanks, guys.
So to wrap up the thought here is when we're having conversations, this is all scripting. It's all scripting. It's being able to ask questions and find out the LPMAMA. Thank you, Jim, or whoever put it I saw it in the chat. So Rachel put it in the chat. Thank you, Rachel. So that you can understand where they're trying to live, your location, how much they're trying to spend. Because like Gracie said, you don't want them to fall in love with the $500,000 house when they can't. Right? Or in your case, the $1.5 million house when they can't. You want to find out their motivation. Why are they moving? Do they really want to move? Are they forced to move? Right? Is this a want versus a need? That's a good assertion, because people will do things when they have to, not always when they want to. I want a bigger house. Actually, I don't. I want a smaller house. Why? I don't know. So, okay, well, my kids just moved back in. We need a bigger house. Boom, let's go. Like, there's a need there.
So would Ford be a good way to get a lot of these answered then?
You can work Ford into that, yeah. Family, occupation, recreations, dreams, because that helps you understand who they are. Ford is the pillars of relationship. Because you are. Why do people move? Because of family, because of work, because of what they do, and because they've got dreams, right? I want to be a country singer. Where should I move?
Tennessee.
Yeah, everyone knew that, right? I want to be a high caliber lawyer. Where should I move?
Okay.
New York.
New
One
York.
question.
So go ahead, Audra.
On LPMAMA, what does agent stand for? What is that?
Do you have an agent?
Huh?
Do you have an agent?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
agent, mortgage, appointment. Well, they just say mortgage because it fits the LPMAMA, but mortgage could also be financing. It could be funding. Are you paying cash? Do you need a lender? Are you paying cash for this, or do you need financing? Because how offended is someone that's paying cash and they're like, have you talked to your lender? I'm paying cash. Okay, Daddy Morebugs. And then lastly, you go for the appointment. And that's just setting up a conversation for more information. So
Tomorrow, before we leave tomorrow, could we possibly go over kind of the same thing of like role play? I'm really big on examples, so I wrote down like all the things you were saying. But could we go over introducing the BRBC in like different situations? Because it sounds like you would introduce it for the specific scenario that you're talking about
yeah,
when you start showing them properties physically, and then kind of what conversations you have with them on the BRBC when you're dealing with somebody who's not a direct person and they're like, what is this 20-page thing you're sending to me? And how to articulate that.
sounds good to me. You guys in for tomorrow? All
Gracie,
right.
I just did a training on BRBC. If you email me, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, go ahead and email Jim on that, Gracie, if you would.
I'll put it in the chat. 1 second. Jim at teamfuller.net. Easy.
.net. Ha!
.com was taken, bro. Calm down.
I like the .cos. .cos.
They got .realtor now.
Is there a .realtor now?
.real estate, .realtor.
I'm not doing any of that. BigDanCaldwell.com. Thank you so much.
Yep.
If you want to listen to some of the stuff, we have been live streaming these on YouTube. So go to YouTube, search Big Dan Caldwell under the live tab. You'll see all of them. Instead of me taking them down and chopping them up and editing them, they're just on there so you can go back and record or listen to and just fast forward through them. They're not highly produced. It's just what you see here is there for recorded history. So thank you guys for being a part of this.